We flew an airborne electromagnetic survey through this area here from Redmond to Many Peaks, and we used that to map out the palaeochannels, so the ancient riverbeds that are cut through the granitic rock through this area. And then once we mapped them out, then we went and undertook a drilling program to really refine our understanding of the sediments in those areas and the water quality, to use that information to identify where the most prospective areas are for groundwater supplies in the hinterland area. This is Napier Creek. These streams are groundwater fed, so they're gaining stream, so the groundwater contributes a large proportion of their stream flow, and we can understand a bit about the aquifers by understanding the stream flow. So if we measure the salinity of these systems, that'll tell us a bit about the salinity of the groundwater. So areas where we can't access the groundwater, we can understand it from the streams, and we also need to manage groundwater extraction to protect values of these streams as well, so like the ecological values or people using surface water from these streams. You can imagine that in around about 40 million years ago, when the sea level was much higher and the shoreline was much further inland, that the sediments that were being laid down into those palaeochannels back then is a similar environment to what we have out here now with the estuary and the shallow ocean here. So the sands and silts and clays that are being deposited on the beds of this area now is what was laid down to these palaeochannels back in that time, about 40 million years ago. And we drilled some bores, and we found a range of water quality. So this water here is around 550 milligrams a litre, so that's fresh, that's good fresh drinking water. We found a range of qualities, right up to a couple of thousand milligrams per litre, which is still suitable for a range of purposes.
Once we have the bores and the AEM sitting together, and we've mapped out where we think our resources are, from the bore information we can tell what the water quality is. So where the freshest parts of the aquifer are, where the more saline parts are, and also from where the clay's lying, so where there's likely to be the most recharge coming through the system. And also any yield, so how much water people were getting out during the drilling process. So if you have a low yield, chances are you're not going to get a lot of water out. Where your high yielding bores are, that's where you've got the potential of getting the most water. We have identified, I think, two resources that haven't been identified before. So the King River is known. The Many Peaks area, people did think that there was a channel through there. This is the first time we've been able to definitely say yes, there is. The Calgon River area is new to us, as is the Nanarup Palaeochannel. We did know the Werrilup Aquifer existed there. We didn't have any idea of the sort of shape or direction of the Palaeochannel itself. So this is a lot of new information is in here as a result of this project. Quite a challenge for us to present this to people who are not necessarily technical scientists. What we've tried to do is really simplify the information as much as we can. So people can just pick up the map and from the map alone figure out where they are, if there's potentially a resource there, and what sort of quality and amount of water they could get out of it.
This is a Department of Water production of a project made possible by Royalties for Regions.